Welcome to this explainer. Look, have you ever felt like the world just kind of rewards the wrong kind of people? The manipulators, the ones who climb right to the top by stepping on everyone else. Meanwhile, you're out here trying to live with honesty, with virtue, and yet somehow the ruthless just seem to win. Well, today, we are bringing together two massive, ancient philosophies to show you exactly how to conquer that reality. So, are you rewarded for virtue, or are you playing by rules designed to keep you weak? That question speaks directly to a deep frustration I know a lot of us share. We were all told that patience wins, that morality conquers all, that good things come to those who wait. But the truth is, the nice guys often finish last, stuck playing by a set of rules that the successful abandoned a long time ago. We literally see it everywhere, in modern workplaces, in relationships, where the ones who give the most are often left holding the bag. Because here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't reward the virtuous. It rewards the strategic. Power respects power. It's really that simple. The game is entirely rigged, but it's only rigged against the people who refuse to understand the real rules. If you're just sitting around waiting for the universe to hand you a prize simply for being a good person, you are going to be waiting forever.
Okay, let's dive into this trap that so many people fall into. On one side, we have the passive victim. Peaceful, highly moral, sure, but entirely powerless while the world just tears them apart. You probably know someone exactly like this, right? They never speak up in meetings, never demand what they deserve, they just absorb all the stress. Now, on the other side, you've got the reckless manipulator. They grab for power, but because they have absolutely zero internal discipline, they're impulsive, driven totally by ego, and eventually they crash. The thing is, we don't have to choose between moral virtue and worldly power. To actually survive, we need both.
Section 1. The Machiavellian Strategy. To stop being a passive victim, we've got to understand the mechanics of external power and strategic control. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote that observation way back in 1513. And look, while it sounds incredibly cold, it is just deeply, undeniably practical. Human nature is fickle, love is conditional, and people will absolutely abandon you the second it benefits them. Just think about modern workplace dynamics. Your loyalty to a company? That rarely protects you when the budget cuts come around. But fear, or actually, more accurately, deep, unwavering respect, now those are reliable tools for survival in a highly competitive world.
So let's look at how you actually maneuver. Strategic moves. Observe without reacting. Master your environment. Use calculated precision. Machiavelli teaches us to read the board. See, human beings are predictably driven by validation, comfort, and ego. When you observe quietly without reacting right away, you're gathering data. You master your environment and you calculate exactly how to influence the outcomes you want. Whether you're negotiating a high-stakes deal or just navigating a toxic office, real power isn't handed to you. It's calculated and it's taken.
Take the historical tragedy of Pero Soderini as an example. He was an honest, deeply good man who ruled Florence, but he completely refused to act against his enemies because, well, it violated his pure principles. And guess what? His rigid goodness didn't save his city. It actually got him exiled, and Florence was conquered anyway. His virtue was pure, but his strategy was incredibly weak. He expected his enemies to play by his moral rules, and he lost everything because of it. Section 2. The Stoic Shield. Because as we just saw, strategy without self-mastery is basically just a ticking time bomb. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who possessed ultimate external power, still understood this vital truth. True strength comes from absolute mastery of your internal peace. You literally cannot control what happens to you. The market crashes, people lie to your face, your best plans fail. But you possess absolute total power over how you respond to it all. Notice the perfect contrast here. Machiavellianism requires you to control the external board, the chaos of the world around you. Stoicism, on the other hand, requires you to control the internal response, the stillness of your own mind. That Stoic emotional discipline acts as a massive shield. It's the one thing that prevents the Machiavellian strategist from just devolving into a predictable manipulator driven by a fragile ego. I really want you to burn this phrase into your mind. Your emotions are information, not instructions. When someone insults you, they aren't just talking, they are testing you for a reaction. If you get angry, you literally hand them a weapon. You become completely predictable. Instead, disappoint your enemies with total silence.
Feel the anger, sure. Acknowledge the data it's giving you, but do not blindly obey it. That gap, right between feeling something and reacting to it, that is exactly where your power lives.
Section 3. The Power Paradox. This is the ultimate synthesis of these two heavyweights. We are bringing external strategy and internal calm together.
The power paradox. It's the strategic reality where the greatest power move is appearing powerless, and the deadliest weapon is being underestimated. This flips everything you think you know about influence. Insecure people, they desperately broadcast their moves for validation. They need everyone in the room to know how smart they are, so they talk endlessly about their plans. But truly powerful individuals, they move silently. They let others vastly underestimate them, and they weaponize that underestimation while positioning every piece on the board from the shadows. If people don't see you coming, they can't set traps for you. And this leads us to a concept I call ruthless compassion, calculated generosity, making hard decisions with clean precision rather than emotional cruelty. Listen, this is not about being evil. Think of it like a parent enforcing a strict rule to protect a kid. It might seem harsh in the moment, but it's fundamentally done out of care. In your life, it means having the guts to make incredibly hard, unpopular decisions with clean precision, instead of acting out of messy emotional cruelty, or even worse, avoiding the problem entirely just to spare someone's temporary feelings.
The difference here is night and day. Stupid cruelty is driven by anger. It's emotional, it's messy, chaotic, and it just builds lifelong resentment. You're creating enemies who will constantly plot their revenge against you. But ruthless effectiveness, it's logical, clean, and commands respect. It acts exactly like a surgeon cutting out a tumor rather than a butcher just hacking away. Being known as ruthlessly fair seamlessly combines that stoic justice with Machiavellian results.
Which brings us to the isolation principle. Walk alone, depend on no one, choose alliances strategically. Now, hold on. This doesn't mean you have to go be a miserable hermit and avoid all human contact. What it means is developing the capacity to be entirely self-sufficient. When you are genuinely comfortable in your own solitude, you become completely immune to manipulation. You can't be controlled by social pressure or some fear of missing out if you honestly don't fear standing alone.
Section 4. Becoming untouchable. We are reaching the absolute peak of this explainer now, combining everything into one unshakable framework to elevate your life.
It starts right here. With time mastery, protect your morning, ignore meaningless distractions, demand respect for your hours. Both the Stoics and the Machiavellians were deeply obsessed with how fast time slips away. Every single minute you give to someone else's agenda, the meaningless distractions, the useless meetings, the endless doom scrolling, is a minute stolen directly from your own empire. Protect your mornings fiercely. Dedicate those first hours to your own goals before the world starts demanding your attention. Demand respect for your hours because taking control of your schedule is the literal first step to controlling your destiny.
Unseen. The true strategist works entirely in the shadows. You really don't need the applause of the crowd to know you're winning. Let them have the spotlight. Let them completely exhaust themselves seeking everyone's attention while you quietly, methodically secure the real victories behind the scenes.
Unshaken. This is your Stoic core in full action. You face the chaos, the betrayals, the insults, and all of the storms of the world without ever breaking character. The world outside might be absolutely raging. The conditions might be deeply unfair, but inside your mind, the water is perfectly still. Untouchable. You merge the two frameworks together. You are emotionally immune to the world's chaos, and you are strategically immune to the world's traps. You've officially transformed from a passive player into the master of the game. Because when you master both the board and your own mind, you literally cannot be controlled through fear, you cannot be manipulated through desire, and you cannot be broken by suffering.
So will you be the person controlled by circumstances or the person who controls them? I'm going to leave you with that final lingering thought. Study the board, master your mind.